Fine. So in this session, what we will do is that we will continue with that test case reviewing, and then once I am done, we will go to that test case execution. And before that, what we will do is we will understand what are all the different testing types we'll be having, and then what is this different testing types, and what time you will be doing this different testing types. So we will talk about that all those testing types also today itself. Right. As I said, right, see, once you are done with your test cases, there will be a review. Review is nothing but what we will is we will make sure that all our test cases are covered or not. So for that, there will be an internal review. We will be doing that review based on this points, right? This is what we discussed yesterday. What we will do is we will check that whether all my test cases are covered with all the requirements. That means once you got the requirements, you may be getting like 10 or 15 requirements based on your application. So what I will do is, right, I will make sure that test cases are done with each and every requirement. That's mandatory. See, whatever the requirements are in scope for your testing, you have to make sure that you wrote the test cases for each and every requirement. First thing. And then you have to make sure that like for each and every test case, you have a unique identifier. You have to cross check that. And as I said, like this, whatever this template I am showing, this review checklist, this review checklist may change from organization to organization, but overall the content will be same only. So here I'm having one of the review checklist, and I'm following this checklist to make sure that my test cases is up to the mark. That means I'm reviewing the test cases based on this checklist. Then I will check if this test case is having description, test data, and expected results. And so do you have expected results in detail? So few test cases I need some clarification. You can talk about that each and every point. Though, do you have expected results with validations? Yes, I do have. And then I covered the test cases with valid conditions, invalid conditions, boundary conditions. So what you will do is you will go to the test case document and then see that each and every test case, and then mark your checklist accordingly, whether it's covered or not. If it is not covered, why it is not covered. So that what will happen is once the review is over, I will be sending this checklist to the particular team member. Say for example, you wrote the test cases, and then I'm reviewing the test cases. I review the test cases based on this checklist, and then I will be providing my comments here. And based on the comments, what you have to do is you need to rework on it. That means you need to modify your test cases accordingly. That is your job. And then this is what we discussed yesterday. Now we need to have like couple of more checklist here. Now what we will do is we will check that, right? We will check whether test cases covered with your GUI test cases. That means like you wrote all the test cases. Now I want to check, I want to make sure that you covered all your UI test cases. That means right, what we will do, this is a common checklist. Right now I'm writing my test cases. Make sure that for each and every requirement your UI test cases are covered for each and every requirement. If it is covered, yes, I'll say that yes, we are done. If it is not covered, say that no, and then give the comment so that accordingly your tester will modify the test cases. So these are right. Is one button set to be default? That means right. Now usually we will be writing our test cases. When you are writing your test cases, what we will do is there will be one button is default. Say for example, if you are having a screen, you have like OK button, cancel button, help button, like this. And by default, what will happen? One button will be selected. See that by default one button is selected or not in your page. So this kind of like common scenarios, this kind of your common checklist. And then is this control ordered according to your normal behavior? That means right, it's standard. Like we are writing the test cases. When you are writing the test cases, see that all your screens are right available according to your normal application standards, like how other applications looks, like how other your Microsoft applications look. So what I will do is, right, I will be doing my review based on this checklist. All these labels are aligned uniformly. All these text areas are aligned uniformly. Are there any spelling mistakes? So if you have this kind of checklist, what will happen is, end of the day, you will not miss any test case. Remember, if you are doing this kind of reviews means you will not miss any test case. Now what you can do is you can provide your inputs to the team, so that team will do that rework, and they will make sure that everything is covered in the test cases. All our labels are aligned uniformly. Alignment, it's nothing but your UA test case. Yes, I wrote this test case. All text areas are aligned uniform. Yes, I wrote this UA test cases. Are there are any spelling mistakes? Yes. So actually, right, for this, right, I never wrote a test case actually. Right, I never wrote a test case. So what you can do, you can say that, okay, write a test case for spell check in each page. Now once you are done, now what you can do is you can send it to your concern team member, so that what the team member will do, they will go through that, and then what they will is, they will incorporate this change in your test case document. That is their job. So your job is to do the proper review and make sure that each and every test case is covered for the requirement. If anything is not covered, immediately what you can do is you can raise your flag, so that that particular test case will be incorporated in your test case document. Okay. Now these are all your common test case. These are all your common reviews I'm talking, like, right? So if you talk about any reviews, this is very common. Like if you're having like non-editable text, is this in gray color? So in my application, there is no concept of non-editable. So what I will do is I will say that it's not applicable, because in my application, right, there is no concept of non-editable. That means what will happen is, sometimes, right, you can see some fields where it is not editable. Okay, here I don't have any example. Do you have any example? Let me show you that. Let me show you any example we have. See, if you see here, if you have any non-editable fields, that means, right, user cannot do any modifications for it. So this kind of situation, that field should be grayed out. That field should be grayed out like this. So if this test case is applicable, I will say that yes, it's covered or not covered. If the test case in my application is not applicable, then I will say that it's a not applicable checklist. Is that tab sequence is correct? That means, now what you can do is, right, you wrote the test cases, and then in that particular test cases, you wrote any test case for your tab sequence. That means tab sequence is nothing but, like, right, if you are in the first field, and when you use your tab, right, you should go like this. If you are going like this, that means you are good. So have you written any test case for your tab sequence? No. So what you can do, you can say that write a test case for your tab sequence. So that, right, this is the way. See, if you have this kind of checklist, what will happen is, first you can do your review for your own test cases. Say for example, you guys are writing the test cases, and before sending these test cases for your reviews, what you can is, you can do your internal review. You can do your internal review by using this checklist. If there anything is not missed, you can include it. That way also you can do that. Now, is cursor becomes hourglass when doing your background processing. That means, like, right, when you click on submit, and then your order is, like, right, order is creating, during that time you should get a hourglass. That means, you know, hourglass is nothing but, like, you will get some loading icon, right? You will be getting some loading icon. See that whether you are getting that loading icon whenever if there is a processing. So everything, right, you have to cover with your test cases. Remember, a test case is nothing but each and every possible condition to test the requirement. If you're testing any application and if you're testing any requirement, you have to make sure that each and every condition you are checking. That is important. If you're checking everything and if you're good with everything, that means you are good with your entire application. Okay, fine. Is this cursor becomes hourglass, so this test case also not covered. So what I will do, I will tell my team, please write the test cases for this point also. Okay, fine. And these are all your common test cases, I can say. And does cursor return a pointer? Okay. Now this also you can check, right? These are all your user friendly issues. Actually, this is very small things, but when it comes to that production and real user, it will really matters. Just imagine that you are selling this product to the person who don't know anything about IT, who don't know anything about your computer. So those kind of people are using, they don't know how it will work and all. And like, right, say for example, if they're filling that what do you call that form, and like, right, what they're trying to do is they're trying to use this tab and all. So they know only little about your computer. That means tab. When you click the tab, and they will go to the next field. Then what they will do is they will try to enter the information accordingly, right? So if you're not providing this kind of user friendly to the user, then it will be a real problem, because you may be having different users. Like some people who knows computer very well, some people they don't know computer and some people, right, they know only little about the computer. So you may be having like different customers. So what you have to do is, end of the day, you have to build a product with very user friendly, so that anyone can use it. Okay, does this cursor is written to the pointer? That means, now say for example, like, right, if you are in your login page, let me show you that. What do you mean by that? Let me show you. That means, right, if you are in that login page, now, right, I will enter something here and click on submit. When you click on submit, right, once you do complete the task, you should get your cursor back to your page. Here also it is not getting. That means it's a defect. That means, see here, what I am doing is, here I am clicking on submit. When you click on the submit, you are getting this, whatever this error message. Once you click on OK, your cursor should be back to your login name. It should be back to your login name. It should be. That's the good user friendly. If it is not getting, yes, I will write that as a. These are all low priority issues. This is not a very important defects, but this is the low priority defects. But still, I will write that as a defect. So does all fields match data length? Like validations, we already done with the validations. We are good with this validation. Yes, we are done with that. Yes. So this and all we did already done. Like you have done your boundary value analysis. You have done your equivalence class partitioning. So this all the field validations we are done for each and every field. So we are good. And then now, one more thing, right? See, you are working with one of the application, and in your application sometimes, right, what they will do is people will use like some short terms, like they will be using a short term for the field. Is this understandable by the user? See that, right? You can also raise that questions, because what will happen is sometimes you may be having some name for the field and that cannot be understandable by the user easily. This kind of situation, what you can do is see that have they provided any information for that. That means I will say that TBD, right? I will say that TBD. In application, I am using the TBD. Immediately what I have to do is I have to provide anywhere in my application, I have to provide like this. So TBD is nothing but to be determined. Something like that. That means, right, don't use your short terms. If they are using, that is fine, but make sure that your short terms are defined in somewhere in your application. That is important. And these people are consistently used across all the screens. That means right? If you are using, right, I will tell you one thing here, right? Now, if you are using username in one field, make sure that you are using the same name across all the screens. One name login, one name username, one name sign in, not like this. You have to use the same name across the application. That's important. So you have to check that. You can also say that, you can also give your suggestion saying that, see, one place we are saying that it's a sign in, but some other places we are referring it as a login. Is it correct? You can raise your questions any point of time. Okay, are both this mouse and keyboard strokes are handy? That means, right, you are working, you are right, you are checking your test cases, and then and in that, right, I will write one more test case. You will fill all the information, and instead of clicking on that submit button, I will click on enter in my keyboard. What will happen when I click on my enter in keyboard? See that whether you are able to submit that form with your keyboard click itself. You have to check that. You have to check. That means, right, see, when you're doing your testing means, right, I will enter my username, right, I will enter my password, but I don't want to click on the submit. I wanted to click on my keyboard click. Let me see that. When you click on that keyboard click, it should work. If it is not working, we will raise that as a defect. That means, right, you have to make sure that your application is working both your keyboard and mouse click also. Is this covered? Yes, I covered. And this is under, right, your UI test cases actually. This is under your UI test cases. Are this color is coming properly, like this color is like visible, and then this color is consistent across your application. Okay, fine. Few things are actually, right, it's not applicable. And then one more thing is, right, now you are getting these error messages. Are these understandable to that end user? If not, like, you can also raise this question. You can also raise this question, like, right, if you remember, like, right, while writing the test cases couple of times, I wrote that to TBD. That means to be determined. That means that is not clearly mentioned in the requirement document. If it is not there, now what you can do is, during your test case review, you can say that one of the test case we need some input from your business analyst or project manager, so that they will provide those details. Okay, this is also covered. And these error messages are informative. Yes, right. Always, right, you have to check that error messages are informative and it is easily understandable by the user. Okay. And then, like, right, this is a very common, like, one more test case. This is, right, if you observe, right, this is a very common test case for any, whatever may be the application. See, if you have any delete, if you are deleting any record, make sure that your confirmation message test case is covered. That means when you click on delete, when you click on your delete, what will happen? You should get a confirmation message. It will not delete directly. You should get a confirmation message. In that confirmation message, if I click on OK button, then only my record will be deleted. These are all your common what you call common test cases for any delete. So actually this test case we don't have, so I will say that it's not applicable. And date formats across the system is consistent. That means if you have your date field and in so many pages, see that in all the pages your date format is date format is same across the screens. That means if you are in screen A or screen B or screen C, all the screens, and if you are having any date field, all the date fields should have the same date format. In my application, I have date format in only one application, and I don't have date format in any other application. So this particular review checklist is not applicable. And one more thing is, if tooltips are used, if it is used only, okay, if it is not used, it's not applicable. You know what do you mean by tooltips? You know what do you mean by tooltips? Fine. Tooltips is nothing but whenever if you are moving the cursor, right, you will be getting some message for your cursor. That is called your tooltip. That means, right, if I am moving my cursor here, it is not there. Let me show you one application. So, right, if you are working with any application, some application, see, you are getting some message here. That is called tooltip. Tooltip is nothing but whenever if you are moving the cursor, you will be getting some message with that cursor. That is called your tooltip. That is called your tooltip. So if you are moving like this, see, like this. So if your application, right, if your application is having this tooltip concepts, then what you can do is you can check that whether this all the tooltips are coming properly for each and every field. If it is not applicable, remove it. Okay, fine. So this is the way to review a test cases. See, the concept is simple. Once I am getting my test cases, my intention, my job is to make sure that test cases are covered with each and every requirement in the application. That is my job. So if all the requirements are covered with the test cases, then I'm good, and then I will say that I'm done with the review, and this is the comments. And usually each organization will have some review checklist, and you are trying to review your test cases based on that checklist. Okay, this is how we will do the review. Once this review is done, now what I will do is I will be sending this review comments to that particular tester. What this tester will do is he will go through that comments, and then you will do the necessary changes to the test cases, and then he will send the final test case document to the team, so that team also they can go through the test cases. This is the process. Once we are done with the test case writing, once we are done with the test case reviews, then what we will do is we will start doing the test case execution. That means we will start working with the test cases. I am having my test cases, and then developer also done with that coding, and then developer release that application. Now my job is to execute the test cases. So before going to the test case execute, yes.
Yeah, who will prepare this review checklist?
Sorry?
Who will prepare this review checklist?
This is the organizations will have their own checklist. Usually that this will be prepared by the manager based on their experience and all, right? So this is not our job, like, right, what they will do is they will be giving you some checklist, and based on the checklist we will review the test cases. So probably down the line, like if you work with 2 or 3 applications, then you will get to know, okay, when I'm reviewing my test cases, what kind of test cases I require. Then you can prepare your own checklist as well. Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah. So like, right, we are done with this test case design. Once we are done with the test case design, then we will go to the execution. And then before going to the execution, first we need to understand what are all the different testing types are available. And also let me show you one more thing. Let me show you one more thing. That means, right, you are talking about that validations, right? I have one more document, and in which document what will happen is, right, when you're writing your test cases, this may be useful actually. Like, right, like when you say that, right, field validations, like you may be having your username, password, whatever. So when you're talking about your fields, username, password, or first name, last name, so what kind of test cases I can write? So if you have this checklist, probably, right, it may be useful to write your test cases. So here, right, you are having your fields and a common checklist for your field validations, like this. So when you are working with any application, you can write one test case saying that how many mandatory fields are there, how many optional fields are there. That is one test case. And then you can check that whether the fields are editable or non-editable. That means one more test case you can write it. And then so you can write a test case saying that whether this application is allowing any special characters or numerics or your alphabets. You can write one more test case here. And then you can check about your validation messages. Validation messages is nothing but like you are having a field. If I am not entering any values, what kind of message I will get? If I enter the invalid value, what kind of message I will get it? So here, right, you will be getting some error messages. So what kind of error messages I will get for each and every build? So one more test case. So here, right, if you observe here, right, now if you have this kind of checklist in your hand, you can write your test cases for any application. This is not application specific. I'm talking this is in general, whatever may be the application. And then tooltip, if it is applicable only. If it is not applicable, you can just simply ignore it. Tooltip is not applicable for each application. And then you will be checking with your numeric, and you will be checking with your alphabets, alphanumeric, and your currency. If it is currency is applicable in your application. And if it is a drop down box, you can say that default value for your drop down box. And then minimum number of characters, same thing, minimum number of characters, length, what is the length of that field, what is the minimum numbers it will allow, what is the maximum number it will allow, what is the minimum number it will allow, what is the maximum number. So this is the same thing, special characters. And then when you say, for example, if you are writing the test cases for your email, so see that format, what is the format of your email, is it allowing @ is it allowing that .com, like this. And if you are talking about your date, see the format of your date, is it allowing DDMMYY or MMDDYY. So what kind of format it is allowing. And then if you're talking about that any inputs, like you will be having some applications where user can provide some files, like you can upload some files. So when you're uploading some files as an input, see that what kind of extensions it is allowing, right? So you may be testing the applications where user can upload some documents. So this is the requirement. So when you say that user can upload, user can give as an input, so what kind of files it will allow? Is it allowed documents? It will allow Excel? It will allow PPT? What kind of files we can upload? So you can write a test case for all the things. And then like when you say that, right, file download. So when you're saying that download, how I can download, what format I can download, what is the naming convention, right? What is the naming convention for your file. And then when you're downloading, right, it will download, but by default it will download into one location. What is that default location? What is that default location? These kind of test cases you will write. Like this kind of test case you will write. And you know this breadcrumb link. So this is only for your navigation only. This is especially for your web application. So you saw that anytime breadcrumb links, right? Breadcrumb is nothing but you will be getting some links, right? Let me show you that. See, in your applications, what will happen is, right, in your web applications, if you are selecting any options, right, you will be getting some links there. In this application, do you have? No, we don't have any breadcrumb here. Which application you will get it? Fine. Let me show you some other application. So any applications, right, any web application, what will happen is, right, when you're selecting any options, right, if you keep on selecting the options, you will be getting some links here. And then see this one. This is called your breadcrumb links. And if you're working with any web application, right, you can write one more test case for your breadcrumb. Breadcrumb is nothing but like the navigation of your application. And if you want to navigate back to any particular module or any particular functionality, what you can is you can simply click on it. When you click on it, then it should navigate directly back to your home. That is called your breadcrumb. Breadcrumb is nothing but the navigation flow of your application. Navigation flow of your application. Okay. That is your navigation flow of your application. Like this. Okay. So you can write that test case for it. So what you can do is you can keep this as a reference. See, whatever that checklist we have, keep this as a reference, and then what you can do is wherever is applicable. See here, right, I'm talking about that so many checklist here, but every time we may not use each and every point in your application. Your application may not be applicable for each and every checklist available here. So whichever is applicable for my application, just take it. And then like for each page, check your spell check, check your alignment, check your font size, check your style, and then check your information, check your error messages, like this, everything. And general features, check your search, right? When you are working with any application, make sure that you have done with the test cases for all these things. Hyperlinks, reset, back, cancel, help links, like this. This is the way how to do that. And if you are having any login page, make sure that you have your test case for your copyright, privacy and legal, and then sitemap. This is the common test cases for your login page. And then if you are doing your search criteria, search with your blank search, search with valid search, search with valid items, and then search with some special characters, right? Search with some special characters, and once you got any results, see the column header, see the default sort. That means, right, results you can sort based on your date, or based on your number, based on your price, whatever, based on your requirement. You see that whether you are able to sorting, see that whether you are able to export the results, if that export option is available for your application, and then see that any pagination is available. So this is this way, like, right, you can write your test cases for your application. This is a common test cases here, right? I'm not talking about that any application specific. So these are all your common checklist for any field characteristics test cases. You can use that. This also you can use. Okay, fine. Any doubts still in test cases? Let me know. If you have any doubt in the test case writing, let me know. Right? Now, so we are done with the test cases. We wrote all the test cases. Always our reference for the test case writing is requirement document. Take your requirement document, go through that each and every point in the requirement document, and then try to write your test cases. To write your test cases, we may be using like this kind of field characteristic checklist, and then some review checklist, so that, right, what end of the day what will happen is we will not miss any test case. So we wrote our test cases, we are done with the test cases, and it's reviewed and everything is covered with my requirements. I'm good with the test cases. Now I will go to the test case execution. That means what will happen, you are done with your test cases, parallelly your developer will develop the application. Once the development is over, then what your developer will do is, developers, they will send that build to the testing team. That means what developer will do is, developers will say that I'm done with my development and this is the application where you can test it. And they will be giving some URL. If it is a web application, they will give that URL, and then you can start testing your application. That means start testing the application is nothing but you are executing your test cases. You are taking all the test cases and then execute your test cases, and the application is nothing but your testing. Fine. So when you are doing your testing, right, you may be using different testing types. Like I may be using so many testing types. First, what we will do is we will talk about that each and every testing, and then we will go to the actual testing. And here, right, when I say that different testing type, your test cases will be same. There is no change in your test case. Let me tell you one thing, whatever the test cases you have, you will be using the same set of test cases for your testing purpose. However, Like you will be using the different testing based on your requirement. I will tell you what is the different testing type and when we will do that different testing. So here you are having like 4 types of testing. One is functional testing. I will talk about that, what are all the different functional testings are available and what is each and every functional testing we will be discussing in some time. This is the main, that is nothing but your system testing. You will be doing a lot of testing for your system. And then non-functional testing. So non-functional testing is nothing but this is the behavioral characteristics like look and feel of your application, user navigation. See that user is able to navigate easily in the application, look and feel of your application, performance of your application. Those comes under your non-functional testing because it's not the functionality testing. Here we are not verifying any functionality here. We are verifying the behavioral characteristics of your application. And then you will be using this terminal, you will be using this testing very commonly, retesting. Retesting is nothing but, see, here you are doing your testing, you are doing your functional testing and you are finding some defects. What will happen? The defects will go to the developer and developers will fix the issues and it will come to you. When it will come to you, you cannot simply say that yes, it is working and close, not like that. Once you got that fixed defect, you have to cross check that whether that defect is really fixed. That is nothing but your retesting. Retesting is nothing but you are doing your bug verification testing. Bug verification testing is nothing but your retesting. Retesting is nothing but testing the same application with a different set of your test data. That means I am checking whether the defect is really fixed or not. If it is really fixed, I will close it. That is your retesting. That is called your confirmation testing. And then regression testing. Regression testing, we will use this regression testing very commonly. Very commonly we will use this regression testing. So regression testing, usually we will do this regression testing in the final builds. Like before giving our sign off, what we will do is we will do one round of your regression testing. Why we will do this regression testing means you have done your functional testing. When you are doing your functional testing, you may be finding a lot of defects and then developer will fix the defects. That means they will change. What do you mean by fix the defects? It's nothing but they will change the code. When they are changing the code, now what is my job? My job is to check whether that defects are properly fixed or not. For that I will do my retesting. And then what I have to do is, as a tester, before giving the sign off, I have to make sure that my existing functionalities are working fine even though there are some bug fixes happened in my application. That means you logged a defect for your login and then your developer changed that code and then he said that that login defect is fixed. When the login defect is fixed, what I will do is I will check whether that defect is really fixed or not. For that I will do my retesting. However, because of this login defect, is this fix? Because of this code change, it is impacting any other areas? That is called your regression testing. That means make sure that your existing functionality is working fine even though there are some bug fixes happened in the build. So your bug fixes do not impact the existing software. So if any bug fixes happen, like if developer is fixing any defects, that should not impact your existing software. If it is having the issue, then I will raise that as a defect. And we will do a regression testing a lot in the organization, and you can hear this regression testing n number of times in your organization. So I will talk about that regression testing like little more in going forward. So just for the timing, understand that you may be doing your functional testing, you may be doing your non-functional testing, you may be doing your confirmation testing, and you may be doing your regression testing. These are all comes under your black box testing. When you say that black box testing, these things will comes under. Now what we will do is we will talk about that each and every testing types available in your functional, non-functional, and your what is regression and what is retesting. With examples we will try to understand. Okay. Fine. So, right, as I said, like, right, you are having like so many testing types, right? You are having so many testing types. We will try to understand each and every testing now, and we will also understand when we will do that each and every testing. See here, as a tester, I'm responsible for my system testing. What is system testing? System testing is nothing but make sure that your entire system is working fine as a whole, right? Make sure that your entire system is working fine as a whole. So here what you are doing is you are checking the entire system. Is it working as expected or not? For this system testing, you are having so many testing types. Like you have a smoke test, functional testing, and your non-functional testing, and your browser compatibility testing. XYZ, so many testing types are there. We will discuss each and every testing now. So here the point is, when you say that system testing, whenever you're saying that, that means I'm testing the system, I'm testing my application to make sure that my system is working as expected or not. For that, I'll be performing the system testing. And then as part of your system testing, you will be doing so many testing types, because system testing is not a single, it's not a single testing. It involves so many testing types. Fine. The very first thing, like, right, once you got your application from your developer, just imagine that you got the application from your developer. Once you got any application from your developer, the first testing we will do on the application is smoke testing. That means we're done with the test cases and we're done with the reviews, our test cases are ready, and developer release that application. Once they release that application, as a tester, the first testing I will be doing on the application is smoke testing. And here smoke testing means, right, it's not the detailed testing. Smoke test is nothing but make sure that the major functionalities are working fine in order to do the detailed testing on the application. Meaning, you are checking whether that given application or given build by the developer is stable or not. That means, is it in a testable condition or not? See, if developer is giving that application, is developer is giving that application to test it, I will not simply go there and then test it. First, you have to check that whether that given build is in a testable condition or not. Right? For that, we will be doing the smoke testing. So for this smoke test, usually, right, we will not do like we will not spend a lot of time here. We will spend like usually we will spend like couple of hours here, not more than that. We will spend couple of hours for this smoke testing only. And here we are not checking each and everything, just we are checking the high level functionalities. For this also, smoke testing also, no need to create your separate test cases. You already having all the test cases. From the test cases, you can pick the important test cases like login, enter username and password, click on submit. If it is working good, I will not do any negative testing here. Just check that scenario, just one complete flow. Yes, it is fine. Then go to your payment page, enter some information, click on submit, see that whether you are able to submit the payment or not. Yes, I'm able to do that. Log out. And then if these test cases are working fine, that means I can say that my application is in a testable condition, so that I can do the complete testing now, because detailed testing means we will take a lot of time to check each and everything. Before going to the detailed testing, we will always do the smoke testing to make sure that your application is in the testable condition. Okay, clear? See, just right, when I'm explaining, just imagine that you are working with the organization, you got the application for your testing. Once you got the application for your testing, first you will do the smoke testing only. So once I got the application, I want to check that whether this application is in the testable condition or not. For that, what we can do is, usually, right, what we will is we have all the test cases. From the test cases, you can create one more document called smoke test case document, and then no need to create your separate test cases. Whatever the test cases you have, take the test cases and then you can take all the high importance test cases and then you can make it as a smoke test case document like that. Okay, then fine. So this is done. Once I'm done with the smoke testing, and remember one point here, like once you are done with the smoke testing, like if the application is not up to the mark and then you are getting some errors, like say for example, if you are entering username and password and click on submit, your application is not going to that home page even though you entered the right credentials, right information. Then what you will do, you will reject the build. You can also reject the defect, reject the build. I cannot test this build because it is having some issues. I cannot do the complete testing with this particular build, and you can reject the build. So based on your smoke test results, you can proceed with your detailed testing, or you can reject the given build. You can do that. Anything you can do that. If you are rejecting the build, then it is a black mark to that development team. Why the testing team is rejecting? That means you haven't done your unit testing, because you remember, whenever the application is developing by the developer, they have to perform this unit testing. Then only they need to release that application to the testing team. Fine. Then I'm done with my smoke testing, and then I'm good with the smoke test results. Then what I will do is I will move to that functional testing. I will move to the functional testing. Here, functional testing is nothing but the name indicates. Here you are checking the functionality of your application. Check each and every functions of your application is working correctly or not. So go to the login page, check that login is working for the valid users, login is not working for the invalid users, like this. So you are checking that each and every functions of your application. That is called your functional testing. Functional testing is nothing but you are checking the functionality of each and every function available in your application. Okay. Here also what you can do is, when you say that functional testing, you are checking each and every functionality of your application. That means once you got this application, once you got whatever may be the application for your testing, what you are doing is, you are checking the functionality of each and every requirement. That means here, what is my functionality testing? Enter my username, enter my password, click on submit. When you click on submit, see that what is happening. When you click on submit, see that what is happening. Whether this function is working correctly or not. That is called your functional testing. Now what I will do, I will have one more test case, and then this time I will enter my valid username, but I will enter my invalid password. See that what is the function, what is happening. If it is getting the error message, that means we are good. But even though I enter my invalid password, but still if it is going to that home page, that means it is a defect. We will not agree. So like this. So this is how you can do your functional testing. Okay, fine. Yeah, sorry guys. Okay, yeah, sorry. So, right, once you are getting any application, right, you have to do your functionality testing. Like, you have to check that each and every functionality, whether it is working correctly or not. It can be positive or it can be negative. And here also what you can do is, you can also do your static testing, you can do your dynamic testing. That means, right, what I will do is, like I'm having my application. So that is, right, every time I'm talking to the UI testing, right, UI testing is nothing but user interface testing. So just look and feel, okay, it is coming. Just you are checking that look and feel whether it's coming correctly or not. It's coming as per your requirement document or not. Its logo is coming as per your requirement document or not. And here we are not giving any input, just we are checking the output. Just we are checking that look and feel of your application. That is called your UI testing. And when you say that dynamic testing is nothing but you are checking the output based on your input. That means here, right, for each and every functionality, what I will do is I will be giving my input, and then I will be giving my input, and see that what is output you are getting for the provided input. If you are giving that right details, obviously we will go to the home page. If it is going, we are good. If it is not going, we will raise that as a defect. Okay, that is your dynamic test. See, that is your dynamic testing. Now regression testing. See here, right, first of all I want, yeah.
What meaning of use cases?
Yeah, I will tell you that what is use case, right? Okay,
It's
you are asking like what is use case, right? Use case also which is used to write the test cases. Earlier, right, I told you one thing. If you want to write the test cases, you will be using your requirement document to write the test cases. Okay. Now, some organizations, what they will do is they will follow these use cases, and these use cases will be developed by your business analyst. And whenever if you are having the use cases, writing the test cases will be a very easy job. If you guys are having the use cases in place in the organization, then writing the test case will be a very easy job. Use case is nothing but the business flow of your application, how the business is going to work, how the functionality is going to work. So in the use case, they will clearly mention what will happen with the application. Let me show you one use case. Use case is nothing but like it's a business flow of your application. And if you guys are having use cases, then your job will be easy to write the test cases. If you know how to write the test cases from your requirement document, writing the test cases from your use case even is easy, very easy. Now this is one of the use case. That means, right, now what they are doing is they are providing you that use cases. Use case is nothing but how the business is going to work. What is the business flow of your application? What is the flow? Now if you are using your login page, so they will clearly mention. So this is your path. Like once you open the application, you should be getting these fields. This user ID, PIN number, and login button. You will get these things. Okay. So this is how your use case looks like. Use case is nothing but the business flow of your application, how exactly it looks like. And then, like you can enter your customer ID, and customer can enter the PIN number, and customer can click on the login page. As I said, if you have these use cases, you can write the test cases very easily. Now, once you enter your username, this ID, PIN number, and login button, right? Then what will happen is, right? You should get a bank accounts page if you enter the right details. If you enter the right details, obviously you will be getting the home page. Now, right, exception means error messages. So whatever the details you entered here, if it is not matching, what will happen? You will be getting some kind of error message. This error message. That means if whatever the username and password you entered and it is not valid, you will be getting this kind of message. And say for example, if my system is failing to identify you, like my network is gone and then I am not able to identify that username and password, what will happen? Then you will be getting this kind of message. That means, right, when you have this use cases, your job will be easy. So this is nothing but your basic path. Basic path is nothing but the positive flow, how your application will work. That means positive flow I'm talking. Enter username, valid password, click on submit so that you can go to that home page. That is your valid path. Now exception is nothing but it's an invalid data, like I will enter username and password is invalid, what will happen? That is nothing but your exception box. So when you have your use case in place, then writing the test case is very easy. Use case is nothing but the business flow of your application, how your business is going to work with that particular application. Clear? Okay, is it clear?
Thank you.
Yeah, no problem. So this is your okay. One more thing, guys, right? This weekend, right? We have sessions at 9:30, right? So actually, I'm planning to take little early. Is it okay with you? So that, right, we will have the complete day. Any thoughts?
Admit at what time?
8 o'clock. 8 o'clock is fine.
8 to?
8 to like same time 9:30 is fine. So that, right, we will have the complete day.
For me, 9 o'clock, I have little work.
Okay, 8 to 9, we will take till 8 to 9. That is fine.
Okay, that's fine.
So what about others? Is it okay? Because, right, I wanted to take little early and then only for this weekend only. What about others? Everyone is good for 8 o'clock? 8 o'clock CST?
Even 7:30 is also okay. 7:30 to
7:30 is too
8:30
early.
or something.
7:30 is too early.
Yeah.
Yeah. What about others? Is it fine? Okay.
Yeah, it's okay for me.
Okay, fine. Yeah, thank you. Okay, fine. So as I said, right, this regression testing we will use very commonly, and this regression testing will be done in the final base. That means once we are done with the testing, and then before giving the sign off, we will do one round of this regression testing. One round of regression testing before giving any sign off. And regression testing, like, you can define in two ways. I will talk about that regression testing. First, I will give the definitions, and also I will give you some examples when exactly we'll use. When you say that regression testing, make sure that existing functionality is working fine whenever we are adding any new enhancements to the application. That means, right now you are testing your Gmail application. When you are testing your Gmail application and then business wants to add some more new functionalities. When they are adding new functionalities, and otherwise we will take it another way. Right, we are done with the Gmail application, the release one, we are done testing with the Gmail, and then we are good with that, and then we go to the production. So right now Gmail is up and running. Now after some time your client came to you and he said that he wanted to add some more features, like he wanted to add chatting functionality. When they are adding in new functionalities, right, okay, what we will do is, we are in the release 2, what we will do is we will check that whether chart is working correctly or not. Our testing scope is charting. So what you will do is you will do a functionality testing for your chart functionality. And before giving the sign off, what you have to do is you have to make sure that your existing system is working fine. Because, right, if your existing system is not working, then what is the point of adding the chart? So if your Gmail is not working, then what is the point of adding the chart? So you have to make sure that your existing system is working fine whenever any new enhancement is happening to your application. So checking that existing system is called your regression testing. Regression testing also normal testing. In regression testing also we will do the same functions, we will cross check whether each and everything is working fine or not. But in the regression testing we will not go each and everything. We will go with complete positive flow, and then we will check all your high level scenarios. We will not check each and every look and feel. We will not check that each and every error message. We will not do that. We will check the complete system is working correctly or not because of new changes. That is called your regression testing. For that regression testing also, you can take the same test cases and then you can remove some UI test cases and you can remove some negative test cases, then it will become your regression test cases. Regression test cases is nothing but you are checking the existing system. If you want to check the existing system, what are all the test cases I have? What kind of functionalities I am going to verify? That is nothing but your regression test cases. Okay, that is one definition. Another definition is, right, regression testing is nothing but you have to make sure that you are.
So what's the difference between the retesting?
Yeah, I will tell you. I will tell you that. I will come to
What's
that.
the difference between?
Yeah, I will tell you. Retesting is our next one. Okay, I will come to that. Okay.
No, I'm asking the difference.
Yeah, I will tell you. I will tell you what is the difference between your regression and retesting after this definition. So one more way also you can define your regression testing is, right, when you say that regression testing is nothing but make sure that there is no impact on your application whenever any bug fixes happen. That means you are working with your Gmail application. Now you are having like 3 builds. Let me tell you one thing. Now, right, say for example, you are testing your application. In build 1, you tested your application and you find your 10 defects. And then in build 2, like, right, what you did is like you retested your defects and then close this 10 defects. And then this is your final build. Now what I will do is, before giving the sign off, right, what I will do is I will do one round of complete testing, because here, right, we have so many defects, and then these defects, what I did is I checked only that defect is working or not. So if it is working, I closed it. But here what I will do is I will do a final round of testing. This is called your regression testing. I want to make sure that all the functionalities are working fine, right, and it is not having any impact because of your defect fixes. Because what will happen is, like, developer while changing the code, it may affect other areas. It will happen when they are doing some changes to the code. Obviously what will happen is it will impact the other areas. Once you are doing your regression testing, maybe, right, you can find out those impact areas. Okay, fine. So you are talking about your retesting. What is regression and retesting? Regression testing is nothing but make sure that your existing functionality is working fine. If there is any changes is happened to the system, if any changes are happened to the system, that should not affect your existing or all the functionalities. That is regression testing. But when you say that retesting means just I will take my defect and retest it. Retesting is nothing but bug verification testing. That means you are having your defect, take the defect as it is and see that whether your defect is fixed by the developer or not. That means now, right, you are having a defect saying that login with valid user is not successful. That means, right, you said that one defect, and then this defect will go to the developer, and developer will fix this. What is this defect? Here user is not able to log in into the system even though I entered the valid details. That is the defect. Now it will go to the developer. Developer will change the code. Once the developer will change the code, then it will come to the testing team. As a tester, what you will do? You need to cross check this. Here I will just cross check this. I will just retest my defect. I will not do any changes here. I will just do my retest. That is called your retesting. But regression testing means because of this defect, is there other areas are impacting? Checking all the areas, including your login area, is called your regression testing. Is it clear? Is it clear, your regression testing and retesting now?
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Okay, fine. So, fine, what we will do is we will stop here, and then I will complete this all the testing types by tomorrow, and then we will jump into the execution. Okay, So you have this one, right? So go through that all the testing types, see that whether you are able to understand, and also take your application. Okay, here what kind of testing I am doing. Am I doing regression testing? Am I doing retesting? Am I doing the functional testing? Just try to understand. Okay, simple thing is a common question. What is regression testing and retesting? Retesting is nothing but just retesting the defect. When you log some defect, right, you are saying that some issue and the issue will be fixed by the developer, and to recheck that issue as it is called your retesting. But because of that bug fixes, is it impacting all the areas? Is it impacting any other areas? That is called your regression testing. That is called your regression testing. Usually we will do this regression testing in the final builds before giving the sign off. Okay.